Hey guys, Stan here with Plastic Joint. I'm here with Korey from Spill.com.
Hi.
Alright, so Korey, tell us how Spill.com started.
Well, it started out really as a television access show. This show went on for about 10 years. I got tired of doing it, but I didn't want to stop getting free movies. So I decided to take my background in animation. I thought it'd be interesting to see what it'd be like to take the dialogue from the shows that we had done before and change them into animated characters, just lay animation over the audio that we had. And it worked out better than I thought. One of the guys who's on the site, who goes by the name of Cyrus on there, he put some of our videos on YouTube. A company in New York saw it, asked me if I would develop the idea for them, so they hired me. Did that for about 2 years, and then we finally got sold to a company called Hollywood.com, and that's where we are today.
So the transition between the first time you started and the Hollywood.com, how hard was that process?
Are you talking about from like the first company that hired us to Hollywood.com? Or from the access show to...
Access show to Hollywood.com. Basically, was it hard to promote yourself, or was it like any roadblocks?
The only roadblock was doing the artwork, because there was a lot of pre-production work to do the animation. And you had to start from scratch. You had to draw the characters, you had to figure out the system for animating these characters so that they could be used over and over again efficiently. So that was about a good year or so of production work that went into it, just testing out everything to see if things would work. And once everything finally did work, it was pretty easy from that point on.
Alright, so as a movie critic, and then you see a whole bunch of movies. Obviously. When you see the movies, do you have certain criteria that you look at the movie with, like, the criteria when you judge, when you review the movie?
You know, I'd be lying if I said no one went into a review or any kind of situation without a personal bias. You might just have a bad day, and that movie might piss you off, and you might not like it because of that.
Okay, but that's what happened with Dragon Ball Evolution with me. I'm just like,
you had to have a bad day going into it. That movie didn't ruin your day.
That movie just like sank it further. You know, it's like, I put it this way: at the middle of the movie, I just walked out of the theater screaming because the movie was just freaking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, it's It was one of my worst movies of that year that it came out. I felt bad for all the Dragon Ball fans like yourself. I wasn't a huge Dragon Ball fan, so I kind of watched it and laughed at it because it was one of those movies for me that was so terrible it was kind of funny. But that is one of my pet peeves about film. No, generally, I say how much sincere creativity went into making this movie, and the more if I see that somebody went into it just for the love of filmmaking or storytelling, I think that's my biggest part. How well you tell a story if you're trying to tell one. You tell a story well, and even better if you have an original idea to tell that story with. To me, that's probably one of the best things that I've seen in film be done. A current example is probably Inception, a movie that I think was perfect, but it was a very ambitious film, and they executed it very well. Now, that's rare that a movie's like that. So I lower my standards. Did the movie, it might not be that great, but did it entertain me? Did it make me laugh? Was the action cool? I mean, I'm not even above just saying a movie was good just for special effects. It might not be rated as high as that movie that I thought was a very well written script and very well directed, but you just have to be able to be flexible and take every film on its own personal basis. And that's kind of the way I judge movies. I have to see it and judge it individually and see what elements of it I thought worked and what elements of it didn't work.
You must have got a lot of flack for, like, people going like, oh, personal bias, on a certain reviews.
Yeah, I have. Because people think, I think I'm the guy that people think nitpicks about things, because I am a stickler for certain things. A lot of times people use I believe that you can get away with certain things in movies because, yes, we see movies not to always see real life. So things are going to be exaggerated. But I always feel if you conveniently change the physics of something, like if you don't have a set of rules, you just your character can do anything just to get out of a certain situation, or if it's just an easy way to like get out of something without explaining it. I don't like that. We just recently had a big debate on the site with me and some of the other guys on there about Salt. They didn't mind all the crazy action that was in the film. I was complaining about a scene where Angelina Jolie puts her arms up against concrete and slides down an elevator shaft. Arms are not scratched or bleeding, shirt is not torn. Now for me, that took me out the movie. And I said I didn't like that. I thought that was just ridiculous. And for them, they said, well, yeah, it's crazy, exaggerated action. We didn't mind that. So it all depends on whoever's criticizing me. Some people can let that go and some people can't. And a lot of people will say, man, you just have to look at these small things. How come you just can't take it as a movie? And I hate that excuse. It's just a movie. We use that for everything. Then why judge anything? Oh, it's just a movie. Okay, well,
it's just a movie that we know use for critics, period.
Yeah, and some people actually feel like that's a good thing if there's no use for critics. But I tell you what, the thing with having that title of critic, I never really want to apply that title to myself. I always say this, and I say it jokingly sometimes, but it is true. I just wanted to see some free movies when I first started doing this. So I started the Access Show just to scam some free films. And from that point on, more people listened than what I thought, and this whole thing has spun out into what it is now. Never would have guessed that would have happened years ago. So when people say, how's it feel to be a critic? I never thought of myself like that, because I don't think I have the right to tell anybody what they should like. You and I are two different people. You like different things than I do. So I never, because people always say, yeah, I listen, and that's part of the criticism too. Some people will say, man, I used to listen to you and I would take your word for a movie, and if you said don't go see it, I wouldn't see it. Well, I hardly tell people don't go see anything. If you like something, then go see it. So just being called a critic is sometimes a weird thing, because I think people too often assume that critics are trying to tell them what they should do and what they shouldn't do, and I don't think that's right.